Hi there. In this quick video I'm going to replace the rechargeable cells in this trimmer and also fix this piece that has broken off. So let's get to it. So let's do this. I can see that we have some sort of screw in here. Yeah, I have a little helper with me, so it will be interesting to work. The little helper is trying to to get everything from this table. Okay, let's undo this screw here. I have no clue how to open this thing up. I'm guessing that there is just only that screw and the rest of it is just held in place with clips, although do I remember correctly that this thing actually was able to come off? I don't know why I remember something about this coming off, in which case maybe we have another screw in this area. Let me see if I can actually pry it off, or it just moves, but no, no, little helper, no. No. Just wait a little bit. Yeah, this is odd. I do not know how this thing comes apart. Seems it should have some screws in this area. Yeah, exactly as I thought. You say the same thing. This has some screws in here, doesn't it? Yep, be back in a second. I must investigate how this thing opens up in this particular area in here. Well, it seems I was right, but didn't expect for everything to be coming off. And yeah, lots of hair and beard and whatnot in here. So this obviously needs to be cleaned off, and yes, we do have two screws, but I think I will clean it off. No, little helper. No. Too much hair in here. I think I will clean it off before opening it up, because I don't want the hair to go even deeper inside. So let's clean it now. All cleaned up, or at least as clean as it can be at this particular moment. I will maybe clean it a tiny bit better before putting it back together. Let's open this thing up. Hey, don't go in the frame. Hair is so annoying. It gets everywhere. No, little helper. No. Yes. Yeah, I need to clean this even more. Yeah. She started to blow on this thing. She can see the little hairs, and it's trying to help me. And she's trying to help me. Yeah. I know. Okay, I'm thinking, what the hell is this? I need to understand how this works for when I put it back together, but no, ay, little helper, what did you do? Give me the fingers to clean it. Yeah, I guess she'll learn the hard way not to touch tiny hairs, because you don't get them off easily. Okay, yeah, I need to figure out what this exact thing is doing, so I can put it all back together properly when I'm done replacing the accumulators inside. This is freaking awesome design. Little helper. Wait a moment. You can see this thing actually latching here. So when this button is set to the on position, like that, these things cannot go in anymore. And these are the things that latch into this. So when you set this in place and start to trim your hair, once everything is on, this cannot move anymore. So you don't cut your hair shorter by mistake in one area or something like that. This is awesome design. This little thing does what it should be doing perfectly. So let's open it up even more. One screw in here. And we have, I think, another screw right down in here. And now I think everything should come apart, hopefully. Okay, little helper. Yeah. Don't poke your eyes out, or mine. Okay, let's play with this. You cannot hurt yourself with that. Okay, so these are our old accumulators in here. Let's see any known brand. 600 milliamp hours. Jeez, these things are tiny. Okay. This is actually quite weird. These are tiny. I think I have smaller one. I'm not going to put this one. These ones are huge for this. If it originally had 600 milliamp hours, and I use this thing quite rarely at this point in time. I have others that will go well in here. I'm going to try and use those, and only if those do not work, I'm going to step up my game to these things. But I don't think it will be required. Those that I have are 750 milliamp hours, so they are bigger than these ones, but they are AAA size, so smaller in size, bigger in capacity. Yep, we'll use those. So these things are out and they have seen better days. At least this one has quite a lot of corrosion in it, so I'm expecting this one to be the real problem. Maybe this one is still half decent. Anyway, I will test them with this thing in here, just to show you what is the capacity at this point in time for them. Okay, so those are the ones that I want to replace the big ones with, and when I took them in my hand, those are heavier than the big ones. So yeah, clearly they have more density, and they are salvaged from a Philips body groom. In that thing they wouldn't quite work properly, but I think it was plain obsolescence, and I just replaced them with another pair, and it's working perfectly now, and these things have worked perfectly into something else, so they are not at fault. Just the hardware had a counter, and when it reached the end, stopped working, and then if I disconnected them and put others in place, I reset that counter. I'm 99% sure. So anyway, enough with that. I will link that video in the description if you want to see it. It seems the one that looks in better shape is actually the one that is not even recognized. So I'm going to attempt to give it a quick jump start and see if we can get anything out of it. Hopefully we can, but with these things you can never be sure. Anyway, I don't have a use for them, obviously they are gone, but I just want to show you the capacity that is left in them after a few years. And yeah, it's recognized. Let's go to normal test, the minimum current, and this thing until tomorrow morning will give us the capacity for each of these four cells individually. So we will see what we are replacing with what. Well. 472, 462, but the other ones are not as perfect as I remembered. 604, 647. So I could replace these two with these two, but it wouldn't be ideal. So these things come in handy. In theory, they are 1900 milliamp hours cells. So that should be plenty for our needs, and this should be charged for a while. So I will put this in, and this get to recycle, and this, I don't know, I will keep onto them for a while, but not too long, because probably they are continuing to degrade. I have soldered the wires. As you can see, yes, it's not a good idea to solder onto rechargeable batteries, but I've seen over time that if I solder really quickly and don't insist too much on one of the batteries, just do one wire, whatever, don't do one fully, it's good. So now I have some double-sided tape. Already cleaned the inside of this as much as I could, and I will just lay it down in here and a strip a bit higher where the wires allow me to do it. I think that's about as high as it will ever be. Yeah, that should be about it. This is extremely strong double-sided tape, so I'm not going to put more than I already did. So at this point I just need to get the protection off of it. Yeah, let's do this in high speed, it will take a while. Soldering finished. Now let's just put some of this tape in here to keep the battery in place. Originally it was this thing. I am putting about the same thing, just maybe a bit thicker. So let's even throw this away, it's not required anymore. You might say I will put it the wrong way around, but it doesn't actually matter. It needs to be between these two. Okay, I don't think I focused anything, or did I? Camera is on autofocus and sometimes it goes to town. It needs to be this between that two and the batteries. So to make sure it is where it should actually be, I prefer to put it here, and it will squeeze the batteries. Yeah, it's a bit backwards, but at least I know for sure that it is exactly on those ribs. If I put it on the battery, I might be too high or too low. The end result is the same, it just gets rid of the guessing. As you can see, the double-sided tape still holds them perfectly in place, so for me, zero worries about that. Maybe, just maybe, I will do a strip over them, but that is not to keep them attached to this case, it's just to keep them attached one to the other. This thing is also really sticky. Okay, they will not move one without the other now. Let's make sure nothing shorts in here, and it doesn't, because it's quite impossible, it's such a simple thing. Put everything back together slowly. Yeah, these wires are in the way for the moment. Something doesn't really add up. Yeah, and I know why it doesn't really add up. Sometimes I'm not extremely careful when I do stuff. These batteries need to be like this to the sides. And as you can see, we have a hole down there and most likely another one under that. Or no, not really. One is there and one is there, so I'm lucky. Yep, we are all good. I think we can live with this. So this goes right back where it was. Let's start pushing this thing back in place. Okay. Perfectly. Let's get the wires out of the way so they don't interfere. And they don't. And now we can put back the screws. From what I remember, these batteries should actually be fully charged at this point. So if you are doing something like this, make sure you do not short circuit them, because with fully charged, even if they are not lithiums, oh sorry, my hand was fully in the way, I sometimes do that, sorry. Even if they are not lithiums, they can still make a show, and we don't want them to make a show for sure. A spark show. Let's get this little thing in there. If if I would actually remember how it was. Yep. No, not really. Not okay. It was a little bit back. Good, good. Now let me just check to have everything set up in place so I can close it. In theory, we are good to go. Everything is in place. Yeah. Let me check the LED is going in the right position. And it's not quite where it should be because I've bent it a little when I was working on this thing. Not intentionally, obviously. Okay, this thing needs to go in that hole, so that is a bit of a worry. Okay-ish. Let me just open up the back on it. Yep, the LED's still not where it should be. Come on, little LED, you can do it. Yep, the LED is good now. And I also think this. Okay, let's power it on and see. Now I can press these things. Let me try and show you somehow. Sorry. Can push them. Nope, cannot push them anymore. Also on the other side, so this is good. Screws are tightened, and put this thing back in place. I think slide it like that and then push it. Oh, that was easy. I wish I had known the first time. Okay, to get it out it's a bit trickier, but not really that bad. Good mechanism. Goes in really easy, comes out a bit hard. Yeah, like it. This works. Let's power it on. I just need to put a bit of oil on the blade, and this part is over. Maybe give it just a quick clean. Yep, I could have seen there 600 milliamp hours. So yeah, I almost tripled the capacity of this thing. Yep, that's good, but it will stay with the charger connected way more than it did until now. I've spent the better part of half an hour making a basket for this thing. Transparent in here, black on the outside, transparent in here because I need to see if everything filled up with epoxy. And now I will just mix it and start pouring it into these areas to hopefully fill all of this up until here. And then they shouldn't be able to break because from there they are way thicker, but at the bottom they are really thin. Interesting design, but in time when this plastic becomes more brittle, yeah, not that good. So let's get to it. at this point all I can do is wait. For the moment it's looking quite okay. You maybe can see it dripping right in there, so that means that everything got filled. I made some holes with a needle in this area so air can escape from the bottom. Yeah, hope for the best and see what happens. That's about it. And it's done. I'm not going to pretend it looks nice, because it doesn't really look that nice, but these things will not be able to break in this area where they broke before. Maybe here at the end, but if they start breaking there, I will use this thing as is without this, or maybe even, I don't know, reuse parts from it and recycle everything else. But yeah, for the moment this thing, it's usable, fits right in where it should. I can adjust it as I should. So yeah, again, not going to pretend this looks elegant or nice, it doesn't, but it sure as hell does the trick. And as you can see, you can still use it because these channels still exist. They are blocked only after the cutters themselves. So yeah, that's about it for this video. Some would say this is not worth your time to fix. If I can get 1 more year or 2 more years out of this thing, it's 1 more year or 2 more years where I don't buy a new one. For me, if everybody would do something like this, the world would be just a tiny bit cleaner, maybe. Anyway, that's about it for this video. Thank you very much for watching. Hopefully you've enjoyed it, in which case please give it a like, check out my other fix videos, and as always, see you in the next one. Bye.